This video is sponsored by no one. Hello guys, Movie or Bust here, and tonight we are going to go watch Licorice Pizza with a Q&A with Paul Thomas Anderson. Now, I would like to thank you guys for watching the previous video where we checked out Licorice Pizza filming locations. And to continue on the Licorice Pizza journey, I would like to show you audio reactions to the movie, as well as a following Q&A with Paul Thomas Anderson. If you guys have not checked out the filming location video, I would recommend checking that out. It's a pretty neat video. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go check out that movie. This is not even my first time watching it, it's like my fourth time.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? He was maybe gonna be my boyfriend.
Listen, young lady, you don't bring this idiot to Shabbat dinner here.
Listen, Dad, he's an atheist and an actor, and he's famous.
But he's Jewish.
He was gonna take me out of here, Esty. Don't you even look at me. Don't you even look at me. You're all looking at me. What are you doing?
I didn't say anything.
What are you doing? What are you thinking, huh? I'm Esty. I work for Mom and Dad. I'm perfect. I'm a real estate agent. Alana doesn't have her life together. Alana brings home stupid boyfriends all the time. I knew it. I knew that was what you were thinking. You're always thinking things, you thinker. You thinker. You think things.
Which one's in charge? Are you in charge?
Yeah, I'm in charge.
May I just speak with you for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. You can tell your crew to stop.
Stop for a sec, guys.
So this is what I want to say to you. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know who my girlfriend is?
Barbara Streisand?
Barbara Streisand.
Sand.
Sand, yeah, like sands. Like the ocean, like
Barbara
beaches.
Streisand?
No, but Streisand.
Sand.
Streisand.
Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
You fucking with me?
I'm gonna choke your brother. I kept it inside, but what I wanted to say was, no, I'm gonna choke you. I would have said it. I was trying to stay cool, though. I was trying to stay...
Scooch over. Oh. Back it up. Oh, fuck. Oh. We're going back up the hill, okay?
Okay.
Oh, how'd it turn out?
It was good. Went well.
You didn't fuck up my house, did you?
No.
You okay? Can you see okay?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just back in the driveway and then you can go straight? Hey! Hey! You blew it, man. You blew it. Did she call?
No.
God damn it, Steve. No gas, though, in the goddamn car, oh, Steve-O! Motherfucker.
Really nice intro setup, and you were right there, so I just got to the chase. Well, congratulations, you're both BAFTA Award nominees. The Brits like you. They're not an easy crowd to please.
Well, no, but yeah, well, we had, Phantom Thread, they liked
True.
us, so.
Yeah, true. So I actually want to start at the beginning with Licorice Pizza, because it's so many different things at once. It's romantic and funny and dramatic and terrifying in some moments with Bradley Cooper. What was sort of the initial impetus or the spark of an idea that caused you to sit down and write this film?
Well, there was lots of different sparks over the course of many years. An idea of a young kid sort of pining after this girl that worked at the two pictures at school day. That was a good one, but I didn't have much else. But the reason for existence of the film is Alana. many disparate ideas kind of coming together in my relationship working with her and her sisters kind of inspired me to it was like a magnet, I suppose, that you have all these different pieces and they sort of just come together. And it's inspiring when you're writing for somebody. It makes you can hear a voice, you can see a body move through space, and she's very easy to write for. I would really credit her for the existence of the film.
But she didn't even know you were writing this. You just sent her a script.
Well, listen, her story, which is so cockamamie and kind of half true. I can't quite remember at this point. But I will say in her defense, it is entirely possible that I had 100 imaginary conversations in my mind with her, telling her all about it, which probably never existed. And then I gave her the script, thinking we talked about it. That's true. That's probably true. I do remember saying to her, probably in a kind of offhanded way, feeling like we're going to do something. I have this thing, and maybe I just couldn't contain myself because I can remember writing it and feeling like there's a point when you want to share something with somebody, and then there's a point when you're not quite ready, and it's always good to have something a little, maybe not entirely cooked, but at least baked enough. And so I was excited. I was overexcited, and I wasn't really ready, but I was excited to let her know. And I might have whispered something in her ear once that she maybe didn't take seriously. And I can see it from her point of view too. But the flaw in her story, because she likes to tell this story like, oh, I had no idea, and it was just so incredible. And I was like, oh, what kind of friend would I be to send her a script that has her name Alana, like as the main character of the movie, and then just say like, well, what do you think of it? I'm gonna go find Kristen Stewart to play this part. Like, that would be that's horseshit. I would never do that. That would be terrible.
Honestly, the craziest part of the story to me is that you write your scripts in Microsoft Word.
Why is that weird?
It's weird, right? It's not just me. Okay. Because there's a whole program and cult created around Final Draft that says this must be what you use.
That's a good reason not to use it. I learned on a typewriter, so I still have, I guess my fingers and my mind are connected, and then I have to tab to write the character's name. The other thing, in my dealings with Final Draft, and I'm sure with a 5-minute tutorial I can figure it out, I don't like to be told what to do, and Final Draft seems to think it knows everything that you're thinking before you're thinking it, and I find the collaboration with the program very irritating.
The predicate.
Yes, like, you don't know who's gonna, and I don't, yeah, so that, but I still, I'm a typist, so I still, yeah. It's bad for production.
It explains why so many scripts sort of feel like they're written by robots now that I think about it. Hey. No, I was being totally serious.
Well, I suppose, one of the joys of a script, or at least, an actor that I work with named Joaquin Phoenix, he always likes reading my scripts because the spelling is off and the punctuation. And part of the joy of that is to realize, he definitely wrote this. Somebody wrote this, and I think that it does. It's not correcting or capitalizing for you. It's funny because I think when you write a movie, dialogue, shouldn't read like sentences, and oftentimes I'll write dialogue in lowercase. And I think one of the reasons for that is that you are trying to write it in a way that might help an actor understand some of the intention. Obviously, if you write something in capital letters, you perhaps indicate that they're screaming. But if it's lowercase, you're kind of allowing them to decipher the material in their own way. Yeah.
Andy, for you, I know that you worked previously with Paul on Phantom Thread and Inherent Vice, but this is your first time in the big seat as the main editor. At what point did he sort of start talking to you about, or did he just surprise you with the script too?
Well, I've been working on these music videos, over the years, so we do have a relationship cutting those, and we also cut a documentary together and this kind of larger format short for Netflix, Anima. So we had a rapport, and honestly though, it really wasn't. Everyone always asking this is like, was there like a big formal meeting where you sat me down and were like, so I want to see if you want to do it. It was kind of in passing, remember? You're like, oh, you want to cut this one? And I was like, sure. That was it. That's kind of how it happens. But I've been part of the team for a while, and going back to the Microsoft Word thing, just like a correlation. Paul's way of working is very old-fashioned. As far as we watch dailies on film, and it's just that process is very old school, and it kind of goes the same way when you write your scripts and writing stuff on a typewriter. It's going through the process and putting in the work, and so I don't know. I know the process of how Paul likes to make his movies, and so I think it worked.
I love writing on Microsoft Word because it's free. So I did it for years, but I broke down and joined the cold recently, I'm afraid.
By the way, I should be saying Microsoft Word is the worst program. It is like so horrible, and I don't even understand 99.9% of how to do it. It just does what I need to do, quite simply. Andy and I well, we won't get into this. If ever I have to update my computer, there's going to be a huge catastrophe because of the version of Microsoft Word.
Yeah, he only wants to use a certain version of Microsoft Word, like 97 or something. So.
I love that. You are editing on updated equipment, right?
Yes, you can go up and down it. We are using it.
Andy's side of the room is very updated.
Like all your movies, music is such a huge part of the storytelling in Licorice Pizza. You have these amazing needle drops, throughout the movie. Can you talk about the conversations between the two of you about sort of where to place those, when to hold back, and also because you have this amazing original score by Johnny Greenwood, right? When you want to use source music, original music.
Well, the overall plan that we had mapped out before was that there would only be one Johnny cue, and it would be at the beginning and at the end. And I let him know that early on, which was nice because it freed him up to do other things. So we knew that structure, and I gave Andy a chunk of the songs to put in the Avid. And that's one thing, he can listen to it, but the real moment when things start to happen is when we were watching dailies. We sort of hooked the laptop or my phone up through the speakers, so you're watching dailies. And even when we were doing tests, we would shot tests of Alana and Cooper walking through a hallway, you can play some music along with it, and it's helpful for Andy for sure. You can't underestimate how helpful it is for the crew. We're out there doing it. He'll eventually he'll know, and he'll get more of a sense of the overall film, But when the dolly grip or anybody, the part of the team that really isn't actively involved in the editorial, to alert them to the kind of tone of the movie through music during dailies is so helpful. And that we try to do that a lot. We early on, probably within the first week, we were shooting the scene where Gary finds the waterbed, and he buys the waterbed, and we were trying different versions of that accentuate the positive, which is often used in films. It hasn't been used in a minute, and there's a couple different versions out there, and it was fun to kind of go through that. We sort of look at each other and say, which do you like? And he'll sort of chime in with which one seems to fit at that moment. Because most of the times, maybe you're right about what works, but then when we really dig in together, you find that perhaps some of the ideas that you thought might work, you're deeper into the film, and you're discovering that perhaps you need to adjust the plan a little bit, or perhaps something is removed, and now you need to connect things in a different way. So the plan is pretty firm, but it changes.
Another thing that was really fun to do was to find little things on the radio that we would put in cars or playing in the background or the TV in some of the different scenes, like Newlywed Game or whatever, or backstage at the Dre Best show. just anything that adds any sort of authenticity to the soundscape. That was, that was a lot of fun going through. It was a lot of those are really real old radio recordings from 1973.
Yeah, we started doing, we did a little bit of it on Inherent Vice, but got more, there wasn't enough room for it really then. We had more room for it, more room to play, and more kind of access to some more interesting material. We're always like, be so excited when you find some odd commercial that you can barely hear, but it has some weird sound effects or something like that in the background that helps subtly do something. I would give Andy a pile of it, and he would generally try to, find all the best bits, and that was always an exciting part of the day, coming back and, seeing what he found that worked.
What about choosing not to use sound or music? Because it was like, I think on probably like my 7th or 8th viewing of the film, I could finally watch, not through my hands, the sequence with John Peters in the truck. And I realized there's actually very little sound in that. And it makes it even more unnerving and tense. And I'm sort of curious if it was always that way from the start, or if that was an idea you came up with to build the tension.
That was kind of always the idea. I mean, there's plenty of sound, there's just no music. Basically, the entire John Peters section is played completely dry, except for one little bit that we have at the gas station. You can hear someone's radio, but otherwise it's just sound effects throughout. And I think it actually makes it more intense.
I do remember one moment we were putting it together, and I had thought, oh, this will probably be good, without any music. But maybe at one point, 3/4 of the way of putting it together, we were getting close. I said, well, I know it won't be right, but we could put, maybe we could play with putting something underneath here. And he just shook his head like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
It's a nice reprieve, just kind of a palate cleanser, and then you get on to the next episode.
It's a palate cleanser that is like the most tense thing I've ever seen on screen. I guess it is a palate cleanser, and that it's definitely a shift. I'm actually curious, working with actors as experienced as Sean Penn and Bradley Cooper, who are so good in this film, and then people who have never I know Alana says she hasn't acted before, but I feel like her as a musician, that's a performance. And
right.
Cooper, who had never acted before, do you have to adjust your directing style for actors, or is it kind of one size fits all?
Maybe a little bit, sure. I mean, look, obviously, Sean Penn has been around film sets for 30 or 40 years. Bradley, 25 years. And Alana and Cooper are stepping on it for the first time, so there's nuts and bolts things about pacing themselves or understanding exactly who does what that perhaps you're helping guide them through. But when I really think about it, you'd kind of be shocked at how it does boil down to, it's all kind of the same thing. It's like, was that any good? Should I do it better? Should I do it slower? Should I do it faster? Fun, it really does, kind of the elemental ideas that you're after, whether you're Sean Penn or Alana, are the same. I mean, funny enough, it's actually was, Sean Penn turned up, and we'd already been shooting, and that's a really hard thing. You're sort of stepping into an environment, no matter how much confidence you have or how you've done it, you step into a thing and you have 5 pages of dialogue that you have to do. You're not warmed up, you're kind of coming in cold, so it doesn't matter. You're stepping onto the wheel, and you want to do good, quickly. He's a great director as well, too, so he knows the pressures of what's required in terms of, getting the shots within the day and all that kind of stuff. So the answer is it's about hilariously, surprisingly all kind of the same at the end of the day. Do it again, we can do better, and then you get a good one.
I'm actually curious, Andy, because you get to see all these takes in the editing room. How much are the performances in the movies really shaped in editing?
I mean, I think editing is the ultimate, final shape. It is.
Don't be shy.
No, not at all. But when we're watching dailies, you kind of see how the performances evolve. That's like a big part of how he shoots. It's you kind of adjust technical things, lenses or lighting or whatever, but then you can also see how the performance is evolving especially with Gary, you can see that a lot. Like various things that Paul would say to Cooper, would you could just finally see when it clicked, and then we knew, again, because we do these dailies and we're watching it together with a communal audience, we know, okay, these last 2 takes, these are the takes we're gonna use, and it accelerates our process when we start building the movie, because we've already narrowed down the best takes.
Yeah.
And by the end of the shoot, I mean, we know we got the movie because of this dialogue that we've been having, so.
Yeah.
And sometimes we reshoot stuff, that happens often. Not super often, but it does happen, and it's just part of the process. Because we're able to review it, and we can say, we can do better. We can change the script, we can change a little something in it, and then we nail it, so.
And I think I agree with Andy. Obviously, you can't underestimate how important it is to review everything that night that you've done the day before, because you're seeing that you have something, or at least hoping you're feeling good about it, confident enough, or you're exposing something that's not working, and it's really important to know if it's not working before everybody packs up and goes home, or you sort of put it on the back burner and you go, let's deal with this in a couple weeks when we get further down the schedule and see if we're still feeling how we're feeling about this. And the benefits of this are huge, especially when we, just to double what Andy said, when you sit down to put the movie together, you're not spending the time learning the takes and looking through all that material. You've done that work already, so you're just shaping the story. At least for a start, you have a base to work from, and that's invaluable. It gives us so much more time to sit back and work that way.
Because in other movies, sometimes the director has never really seen all the dailies. They've been there, but they saw it on, Video Village, but they really never saw it. So, Paul's seen it, and we both have seen it, and I review again after I watch on film, and we just know the footage, so it's invaluable.
I feel like making a movie is challenging enough, but you've chosen to make a period piece with 2 lead actors that haven't acted before during COVID. Many different set pieces, really sprawling ensemble. For each of you, what ended up being the biggest challenge of the film? Maybe there's a particular scene that you went back to again and again in the editing room. For you, it could be in the writing or the shooting.
Oh my God, you're never supposed to admit this, but everything was so joyful and wonderful.
No, tell me about the struggle.
I know one thing you can say. When the Tail of the Cock sequence, that was probably in editorial, that was our biggest struggle.
Really?
Because it was a lot longer, actually. And, we had a lot of great stuff, but we really had to distill it down to the essence. Yeah. And it just, that episode kind of outweighed the other sections of the movie, and so we got through it. We started chopping it up, and really, we kind of made it this drunken mess in a way, and that made it work in a way that simplified it, and so it really made it about this crazy interaction they're having at the table, and then Gary and Alana looking at each other and this standoff kind of thing.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if that's the biggest problem that we had, that was the most joyous problem to work through. But it was frustrating. There was a lot of material and many different areas to be bouncing back and forth between and to get that rhythm right.
It's better than the reverse, of not having enough footage and trying to build something. At least we knew we could take stuff out.
That's right. Yeah.
I've heard it was an amazingly joyous set, even though Alana was sure you were going to fire her every day. I don't like hearing that.
I was going to fire her.
She said on the last day she felt pretty secure. I am so sorry that we're already out of time. I have to ask everyone to stay seated because these gentlemen actually have to do be somewhere. Wow. And at the same time, they have to clean out this theater for the next screening. But I want to thank you guys for being a great audience. And again, congratulations on all the success of the movie. It's so, so special.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that was cool. Luckily, I was one of the last ones to get one of these carb stickers. Honk if you love wet beds. That's gonna sound perverted. Well, it looks like this is the vinyl that they have on sale. They even have the Licorice Pizza vinyl with all the soundtracks on there. They have stuff for the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Doors. Here's a better view of the rest. Oh, they even have
Guys, can I have a complete candid on what you like tappers? Just something you cool with that? 1 second.
I'm probably gonna get that vinyl. And here are the Licorice Pizza pinball machines. So I got the vinyl. It was only $26. It's not bad for vinyl. It has a nice cover though. I'm gonna put on display. I think I'm gonna put on this bumper sticker a little later. My bumper is a little dusty. I know it's gonna fall off, so later. Alright guys, well today is the day after tomorrow, so I just got home like yesterday, but I opened my Licorice Pizza vinyl and I am pretty angry. So, I mean, what's wrong with it? It looks really cool, right? But check this out. So I opened the vinyl and it has a nice mirror. It has a nice mirror. It has a nice collage of photos and props. But when you look at the corners and the sides, they're all torn up. And I was not happy about that at all. There's one more at the bottom. Yeah, so this collage includes photos and props. Like you can see like the bra that Elena wore. You can see the Fat Bernie's ads for the restaurants. Here's the Watts for Mayor poster. And a bunch of other props and photos behind the scenes. And on the sides of the album include songs for each record. We'll get to that in a bit. I only wish I knew what they said behind the torn up parts. This is my 25 bucks worth. I'm gonna show you side A and side B right now. This photo was used for the actual poster. There's Bradley Cooper right there. There's more of Gary and Elena. There's a newspaper on top for some sort of adult movie theater. If you look on the back, there's some photos of Gary's friends. There's some tickets, and I think that's a receipt for Fat Bernie's waterbeds. And this is what the vinyl looks like. I don't have a record player, so this is just mostly for display purposes. But this is side A. It includes songs like If You Could Read My Mind, Walk Away, and Tomorrow May Not Be Your Day. And here is side B, which includes songs like Life on Mars, Slip Away, Diamond Girl, and Softly Whispering I Love You. And this is side C and D. Here are some more photos of Gary and Elena. I should create a collage like this, make it look retro. Get some of my family photos in there too. And here's the vinyl for C and D. The C side includes But You're Mine by Sonny and Cher, My Ding-a-Ling by Chuck Berry, Peace Frog, and Let Me Roll It by Paul McCartney and Wings. And here is side D, the final part, which includes songs like July Tree, Stumbling In, Sometimes I'm Happy, and Blue Sands. I'm gonna keep the vinyls in here because I don't really have a place to put this up. But when I do, it'll be a nice display. And what's cool about the back of the album is that they have the list of the songs too, as well as like the credits. But if you look closely, hopefully the camera could capture it well. This is the interior of a pinball machine. You can see all the wires and the parts, and there's even a piece here that says high score adjustments. And I think that box right here is where all the pinballs go into so you can watch them. I'm still questioning if I should put these stickers on my bumper. I mean, they're a nice tribute for the movie, but will this make sense to a lot of people? I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. Alright, I think that is going to be it for today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out more videos coming soon. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. See you later.